School children in England wear gas masks during World War II. 1939. Rush hour in early 1900s New York City was pure chaos. The oldest known condom, found in Tutankhamun's tomb, is dated to 1350 BC Stonehenge, shown in 1877 alongside its modern view in 2019. A New York policeman hangs from a steel girder. 1920. Ancient Roman mosaics from the 3rd to 4th century were unearthed in Verona, Italy. The view from windows on the world atop the World Trade Center North Tower. 1976. A Chinese woman with bound feet was photographed in the late 1800s. A stunning panoramic view of the pyramids in Egypt. Bandits Roost alleyway at 59.5 Mulberry Street. New York City, 1888. The Dale Creek Bridge in Wyoming slowed trains to 4 miles per hour. 1885. The first known photograph of a cat was taken around 1845. Frank Hayes wins a horse race posthumously, the only jockey to do so. 1923. An unusual Victorian-era portrait of a woman was taken in 1840. Champagne inspector wears a protective mask against bottle explosions. California, 1933. Robert Earl Hughes, the world's heaviest man at 1,071 pounds, could still walk unaided. A first-class cabin aboard Japan Airlines Boeing 747-100. 1970s. A portrait of a shoemaker from the year 1850. A smiling young boy was captured in a portrait 134 years ago. Ancient human footprints found in White Sands, New Mexico, are dated 21,000 to 23,000 years ago. An immigrant family arrives at Ellis Island. 1904. A New York City street scene was captured in 1928. The crescent moon hairstyle was popular in the late 1800s. The armor of a 19-year-old Napoleonic soldier killed at Waterloo, 1815. The real-life Peaky Blinders pose in Birmingham. 1910. Annie Oakley poses with a rifle gifted by Buffalo Bill. 1922. New York City streets were photographed 115 years ago. People dressed up for a casual midday walk in 1915. A U.S. Marine offers a cigarette to a buried Japanese soldier. An aerial view reveals an uncontacted tribe in the Amazon. East Berlin. Soldiers refused to shake hands with West Berliners after the wall fell. The Black Rift cuts dramatically through Utah's desert landscape. The Titanic is compared to a modern cruise ship in size. Queen Victoria photobombs her son's wedding, dressed in mourning. The only known photo of Concorde flying at Mach 2. The river Nile winds through the heart of Egypt. Rose Kennedy was photographed shortly before her forced lobotomy. The final photo of Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard before their fatal bear attack. 2003. Crystal Cave lies 984 feet underground in Mexico. Young Soviet boy captures a German general during World War II. A look at 20 of the world's most bizarre foods. Milanka Savic, the youngest Serbian soldier in World War I, enlisted at age 8. John Wayne, dressed as the Easter Bunny. 1972. A third atomic bomb was prepared for Japan but never dropped. Evil Knievel's 1-horsepower canyon jump attempt, Scotland. 1898. The original Taco Bell building now sits behind company headquarters in a parking lot. The reconstructed face of a Stone Age woman from a 4,000-year-old skull. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon call their moms after winning Oscars. 1997. Lady Gaga is pictured before fame in 2004. A Monet painting sells for $13.4 million after last selling for $330. Zero in 1978. La Bella Principessa, a clearer Mona Lisa copy, was uncovered in 2012. A massive piece of cable from the Golden Gate Bridge, Electric elevator desks were in use in Prague. 1937. Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta, also known as Lady Gaga. 2004. The Rocket Express Montreal carries kids through a Philly toy store. 1950s. Daniel Sereno unknowingly photographed Robin Williams as a mime in Central Park. 1974. The Petrified Tree Stump, an incredible discovery from 1918. Grace Kelly and Audrey Hepburn backstage at the Oscars. 1950s. Pope Francis washes women's feet in a Rome prison from a wheelchair. A quote, "There's a guy in my head who just wants to lie in bed, smoke pot, and watch old cartoons. My life is built around outwitting him." U.S. Special Forces deploy with a W-54 nuclear warhead via parachute. A hippie father strolls with his daughter in Amsterdam. 1968. Paul Newman visits Venice in a candid photo. September 1963. Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, and Millennium together in a rare photo. Giovanni Battista Bugatti, Papal States executioner, carried out 514 executions. The remains of an ancient Roman aqueduct, the upper lid of a coffin, found in a newly uncovered 20th dynasty Egyptian cemetery. Photorealistic depiction of what George Washington might look like today. Humphrey Bogart's shoe lifts, used in Casablanca to match Ingrid Bergman's height. 1942. One of the earliest portable radios was introduced in 1923. Judy Garland's screen test for The Wizard of Oz at age 16, 1938. Judy Garland was shunned by co-stars on set, befriended only by the Wicked Witch actress. A 393-year-old Greenland shark, the oldest known vertebrate, was born around 1627. Paul Alexander dies at 78 after spending 70 years in an iron lung due to polio. Barack and Michelle Obama with newborn. Malia in their living room. 1998. Theodore Roosevelt at age 19 during his freshman year at Harvard. 1877. Allison Hayes poses in a classic photo from the 1950s. Young George Clooney was photographed with his family. 1968. A moo who avoided bathing for 60 years dies shortly after finally washing. French knife grinders lay on their stomachs to work. Known as yellow bellies. 1902. Chicago as it appeared 129 years ago. The University of North Texas and Montana, shown 150 years apart. John Wayne at age 23. Photographed in 1930. A side-by-side comparison of early Los Angeles and the year 2001. Franklin D. Roosevelt Jr. rests after rowing with the Harvard crew. 1930s. A chicken-shaped church stands out in Indonesia. Jimmy Carter working on his peanut farm before his presidency. 1960. A chart listing the best-selling female music artists of all time. Robert Downey Jr. at the Academy Awards. 1993. Daylight reveals the destruction from the Baltimore Bridge collapse. A 13-year-old, Cher, was arrested in 1959 for taking her mother's car. The cramped interior view of a world. War II ball turret. Johnny Depp and Salma Hayek were pictured together. In the 1990s, dazzle camouflage was briefly used to confuse enemy ships. Joaquin and River Phoenix with their family. 1983. The Statue of Unity in India is the tallest statue in the world at 182 meters. The ArcLight Theater, shown 26 years apart. The Dresden Codex, written in Mayan glyphs, is one of 4 surviving pre-Columbian books. Cats beg for milk on a farm. Photographed by Nat Farbman for Life magazine, 1954. A dad impresses his young daughter with a skillful move in Melbourne, 1940. A 38-year-old scientist who helped shape global fate in the 1940s. LAPD's female trainees practice with revolvers for the first time. 1948. Models of American Gothic pose beside the famous painting. 1942. Hums King George V in dock after slicing HMS Punjabi in half. 1942. General Charles de Gaulle's daughter Anne, who had Down syndrome, called him Papa. A watermelon-eating champion at Brooklyn's 4th of July celebration. 1935. A grateful sheep nuzzles the dog that saved it from a wolf attack. Angelina Jolie, photographed as a teen in 1990. A policeman gives a woman a ticket for wearing a bikini. 1957. Ruth Graves Wakefield created the chocolate chip cookie in 1938. In the 1960s. Istanbul's drunk baskets were used to carry intoxicated patrons home. Young Christopher Walken looks like Scarlett Johansson. The term feeling hungover comes from cheap pub sleeping ropes in the 19th century. George Washington's folding trunk. Bed from the Revolutionary War. Albert Einstein teaches physics at Lincoln University. A black college. 1946. The grand staircase aboard the RMS Titanic. 1912. Marie Curie's tomb is lined with lead due to radiation from her remains. A soba noodle delivery man in Tokyo bites to customers. 1935. An American Airlines flight attendant. Poses in uniform. 1967. A young soldier hugs his mother before leaving for World War I. 1917. Princess Diana wears her famous revenge dress the night Charles confessed. 1994. The same man, house, and car, photographed 50 years apart. Brooklyn Dodgers fans protest the team's decisions. 1940. A British woman calmly sips tea after a London bombing raid. 1944. The gravestone of George Johnson, wrongly executed in Arizona. Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller on their wedding day. 1956. Heaven's Gate, a stunning natural arch in Tianmen Mountain, China. A coal miner memorial for his canary, Little Joe, who died in 1875. Sorvagsven appears to hover above the ocean in the Faroe Islands. The Old London Bridge was once Europe's longest inhabited bridge. Sopot. Poland's entire population lives along a single street. The 3,270-year-old Huve amber cup, carved from a single Baltic amber piece, an ecstatic customer celebrates the release of Windows 95. Gas prices are shown from decades past. A young Marine. Private waits on the beach during the Da Nang landing. Vietnam, 1965. Inside the Simpsons writer's room. 1992. Two lifelong friends remain close since their World War II service. Billy and Benny McCrary. The world's heaviest twins weighed 742 and 723 pounds. 1978. Brittany Murphy, photographed early in her career. 1998. Enzo Ferrari, photographed in the 1920s. Bruce Lee practices intense training drills in the mid-1960s. Point Lookout in Tennessee, captured during the 1880s. Fred Gwynne served as a Navy radio man before becoming Herman Munster in 1964. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man in history, stood at 8 feet 11 inches. A snow leopard hides in plain sight. Can you spot it? Two girls ride sheep at full speed in Cornwall, England. 1969. The Murchison meteorite is the oldest material ever found on Earth. 7 billion years old. Teachers enjoy spring break together in a candid moment. Leonardo da Vinci designed a spiral staircase in 1516. Serena. A snow lady sculpture was created for winter fun. Even famous composers once struggled to draw a proper treble clef. A llama appears in a vintage Times Square photo. 1957. The Sweet Track, a 5,830-year-old Neolithic timber walkway in Somerset. England. Stephen Hawking marries Jane Wilde in 1965. An orangutan walks through the ruins of its former rainforest. A 440-pound blue whale heart, one of the largest ever recorded. Children head to class in New York's Lower East Side. 1886. A wheelchair made for Holy Roman Empress Elizabeth Christine. 18th century. Windswept trees bend permanently along New Zealand's rugged coast. The Kilauea. Skylight in Hawaii, a lava formation nicknamed the Portal to Hell. A Bf-109's camouflage blends seamlessly into the desert. North Africa, World War II. A payment list shows how much artists earned at Woodstock. 1969. Robert De Niro at age 80 with his 10-month-old daughter. A close-up of penguin feathers reveals natural insulation. Barack Obama with his mother in the 1980s. New Year's Eve celebrations in the 1920s. Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and Brendan Fraser together in 1995. Ringing in the new year, 1981 style. A couple strolls through New York City on a spring day. 1915. Harrison O'Keefe survived 3 days in a sunken tugboat off Nigeria's coast before being rescued. Princess Anne, photographed at age 19 in 1969. Melinda Lou Wendy. Thomas inspired the name and logo of Wendy's. Founded by her father in 1969. Cats wait patiently for fishermen to return. 1970s. A New Year's Eve celebration. Captured in 1960. American actor Charles Bronson. Captured in 1969. Three friends pose together in Brooklyn. During the 1940s. Fran Drescher poses stylishly in 1997. A farm family shares dinner in Tennessee. 1940. Mug shots of iconic singers from 1938 to 1986. British and German soldiers share a Christmas truce on the battlefield. 1914. Sharon Tate displays baby clothes she bought in London. 1969. Children play in New York's Lower East Side. 1963. A 35-year-old Gene Hackman in a 1965 portrait. Gene Hackman at age 94. David Hensley, crippled by polio, wearing leg braces. 1948. Two Armenian women pose with rifles before battle. 1895. Train travel in the 1890s. The first king of Saudi Arabia. Ibn Saud, early 1950s. Survivors of the Titanic. Disaster. A stylish family outing. 1946. The massive cables supporting the Golden Gate Bridge. Netflix and chill. 1912. Hong Kong in the 1920s. An Absaroka man on horseback. 1908. Maud Wagner, the first female professional tattoo artist in the U.S. formal portraits, rarely featured smiles. 1912. The Oval Office without furniture. The puddle. Jumper, 1934. What a U.S. dollar bill looked like in 1917. Four boys jamming. 1928. King Tut's tomb shortly after its discovery in 1922. New York City after a snowstorm. 1888. Early morning wake-up calls involved knocking on windows before alarm clocks. The Miss Perfect Posture. Contest winners at a chiropractor's convention. 1956. Thomas Wetters, the man with the largest nose in history. 7.5 inches. A photographer capturing the streets of London. 1929. Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration in 1865. Can you spot him? Carving the eye of Thomas Jefferson on Mount Rushmore. 1936. Valentine Tapley, who never cut his beard again after 1896. A woman standing while riding her motorcycle. 1920s. The real outfits worn by doctors. Treating plague patients in the 1600s. Friends. Having a picnic 137 years ago. A rare view of the Statue of Liberty's scalp from the torch. Three sisters mounting horses. 1914. The Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. As it looked in 1907. Hershey factory workers wrapping chocolates by hand. 1937. Inside the first-class lounge on the Titanic. Victorian women who never cut their hair. 1860 to 1900. A circus-strong woman balancing a piano on her chest. 1920. Two girls posing with their snow fort. 1910. A woman charging her electric car in her garage. 1912. Three women in Marshall, Texas. 1899. A woman riding an early scooter. 1916. The original photo of the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. 1922. A rare photo of 3-year-old Albert Einstein. A couple of Victorian travelers. 1890s. In 1907. Annette Kellerman was arrested for wearing a bathing suit. A postwoman from the 1910s. Guy Jewell. Declared the world's heaviest man in 1899. A man trying Coca-Cola for the first time. France, 1950. The nuclear bombing of Nagasaki. Japan, a view from the ground. A little girl getting water at the farm. Maine, 1942. Britain's oldest door, built. Nearly 1,000 years ago, in the 1150s. Going to the beach with style. 1915. Margaret Gorman, the first Miss America winner in 1921. A Welsh woman washing her mind-working husband. 1931. A portrait of male lovers. 1850 to 1950. When homosexuality was illegal, not an angry kangaroo knocks out a woman trying to take its photo. 1960s. Do your bit? Skate to work. Save gas. New York City, 1940s. A Serbian soldier sleeps beside his father. 1915. The night prohibition ended. December 5, 1933. A young girl with prosthetic legs. England, 1890 to 1910. Hans Langseth, a German World War I veteran, in 1998. A teenager at an Elvis Presley concert. April 6, 1957. A typical college dorm room in the 1910s. The New York City subway system. 1980. A stroll in the park. 1937. An Enoch man teaching a boy how to shoot. Circa 1920. Two boys sharing their cultures. Couples in a bar. Pittsburgh, 1959. Anatoly Golinsky, a decorated Soviet veteran who lost his legs. 1989. Charles S. L. Baker and his assistant demonstrating a heating radiator system. 1906. A kiss in St. Paul Park, circa 1974. Learning to ride a bicycle. 1961. A French girl kissing an American soldier on Valentine's Day. 1945. New York children sleeping on the fire escape to stay cool at night. The Statue of Liberty in Paris before. Its journey to New York. A rare photo of a 1970s remote control. Bruce Lee performing a two-finger. One-armed push-up, circa 1970 South. Charlie Chaplin meets deaf-blind author Helen Keller. 1919. Charles Tripp and Eli Bowen riding a tandem bicycle. 1890s. The last known photo of the Titanic afloat. April 12, 1912. Roller skating. 1930s. The world's largest horse in 1930. A father helping his son feed a giraffe at the London Zoo. The violin of Wallace Hartley. Bandleader on the Titanic. Little big man from the Netherlands. 1904. The world's oldest surviving photograph. Taken by Nicephore Niepce in 1827. Hong Kong in the 1950s. The Speyer wine bottle. The oldest known bottle of wine on earth. Children playing on a cart in Harlem. New York, 1920s. How the presidents on Mount Rushmore were originally planned to look. The elegance on the streets of New York City. 1928. Hugo Gernsback, inventor of teleglasses. Albert Einstein's desk on the day he died. The Italian royal family. 1905. The Eiffel Tower under construction. A teen boy covering a girl's eyes. 1940s. Mount Rushmore, before the presidential faces were carved. James Stewart enjoying a beach read with Valerie Varda. Queen Elizabeth II at 18 years old. Robert Earl Hughes. The heaviest person on record at 1,071 pounds. 1926 to 1958. The Great Sphinx of Giza with a tail. A newly built telephone tower in Sweden. 1886. Covered in wires. Dance marathons were so grueling, people fell asleep standing up. The inside of a quarter. What it really looks like. The California Alligator Farm, where kids were encouraged to get up close. First-class travel on an airplane in the 1950s. The average polar bear's size compared to a human. The world's thinnest man and the world's fattest man in the 1800s. A young Teddy Roosevelt seen in the second-story window. One of the few known photos of Vincent van Gogh. Shown here at age 20. Marianne Bevan, dubbed the world's ugliest woman in 1920. Ice mountains on Pluto, captured by NASA's New Horizons probe. The evolution of women's bathing suits, 1875 to 1927. The old Cincinnati Library before its demolition, 1874 to 1955. A 1950s all-women's hot rod club in Kansas City. Roland, a 4,000-pound elephant seal, photographed in 1930. A couple riding a Malvern Star, a breast tandem bicycle in the 1930s. Two girls dancing in the streets of London. 1954. A man begging for his wife's forgiveness in divorce court. 1946. A homecoming prisoner in Vienna, Austria, circa 1946. Winter fun in the old days. The man in the middle. A college-aged Richard Nixon. Neil Armstrong's Gemini 8 space capsule after landing in the Pacific Ocean. The Times building under construction in 1903. Now the heart of Times Square. Harriet Tubman in her old age. The original Michelin Man design was absolutely terrifying. Competitors at the 1980 Space Invaders World Championship. The Golden Gate Bridge during its construction. The first ever photograph of the moon. Galileo's drawings of the phases of the moon. From 1610. A game of unicycle basketball in Harlem. Circa 1960s. Sophia Loren. Circa 1955. Night fishing. 1948. An engineer wiring a primitive IBM computer. 1958. Two ladies riding in a Lawson's motor wheel. 1902. Children on a spiral staircase. 1965. A couple in a Model T Ford at Balanced Rock. 1920s. A portrait of an interesting hairstyle. 1894. World War I soldiers paying tribute. The 1944 eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Vincent van Gogh's painting palette. Female motorcycle officers, Los Angeles. 1927. First-class air travel in the 1960s. Sisters Florence and Susie Frimith. 1921. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man who ever lived. A happy family taking home their book haul. 1940. The end of the 13,000-mile Great Wall of China. A beautiful couple in Venice. 1890s. Leonardo da Vinci's painting, the most expensive ever sold. Montreal. Playgrounds were on another level. 1950s. The interior of an airplane in 1925. Brazilian girl refusing to shake hands with João Figueiredo. 1979. Marilyn Monroe in a funhouse mirror. 1950. Queen Genepel, the last queen of Mongolia. 1920. Don't mess with Granny. Early history. How did you think all these pictures were taken? New York City construction workers. A small girl balancing on her mother's hand. Mid-1900s. Schoolgirls in gas masks. World War II. A portrait of Arctic explorer Peter Freuchen and his wife. 1947. An anti-drinking public service announcement. Early 1900s. Aerial photography in Edinburgh. Circa 1920.